All right. Hello, hello, hello. And this is Tea and Cornbread. I am your host, Sean Johnson. My co host, Tracy, is not with us tonight, but I wanted to have this conversation with the creators of the Black History Symposium. And this is the old school weekend. It's during the old school weekend. We have Judge Maurice Mosley and Miss Ari French. They are part of the creators and coordinators of this old school weekend Black History Symposium that's happening at the Mattituck Museum on August 30th, 2025 at 10 a.m. So thank you for being here. Thank you guys for, being on our show and going into what it is, what the importance of this symposium is, why, and what made you want to just do this. All right, so let's start with Ari. I have Ari introduce herself, and then we'll have Judge Mosley introduce himself, and then we'll go from there.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ari French, and I am a parent ambassador with Waterbury Bridge to Success, and I am here in that capacity working with the Honorable Judge Maurice Mosley. Good evening.
Good evening.
Maurice Mosley, I'm just a public servant.
Awesome. All right, Maurice.
And
Well,
also, I'm a cousin. I'm a cousin of Sean. That's probably my biggest claim to fame.
that's my cousin. Yes. Okay, so I'm excited about this Black History Symposium. I have been honored to be in the room when you guys were talking about it and pulling it together. And I'm so excited about what I don't know, learning what I don't know. You know what I mean? Born and raised here. And I'm the what Gen X. They call us different. So I'm in the Gen X, right, in my 50s. And so I'm super excited about learning more about this. But tell me, why was this important to do it? What made you want to do it? And what would we expect on
Yeah.
that?
I'll start off with the why, then I'll defer to Ari to give you the details of what's going to happen on Saturday. But you know, God gave me an assignment. He told me our community needs Black history, not just our community, but the whole country needs Black history. And he gave me the assignment of putting a team together to deliver Black history to our community. Um, and along the way, uh, with a series of angels, when God gives you an assignment of purpose, He also gives you angels to help you. Um, what happened about almost 4 months ago, a Italian fella called me and said he had a scrapbook from Hubie Williamson. Hubie Williamson used to be a activist in Waterbury. He was extremely active in terms of civil rights. And he had his scrapbook from the 1960s and
Wow.
asked me, did I want to see it? And I said, yes. I looked at it. Long story short, I would go. I took it to Staples to have the pictures and the articles laminated, but they were so old it couldn't happen. But
Mm,
another angel popped up, Daryl Drawn, engineer out of New Haven. He said, "Don't worry about it. We can digitize it," and he digitized it. We had a meeting. We put together all the various groups in town from the links, Megas, NAACP. A big meeting of about 20 people were there, and my cousin Sean was there also. And we started, talking about um, doing a pilot project of Black history based on the fight for civil rights during the 60s, because all these articles talked about the fight during the 1960s. And um, three other angels, some young ladies were there. Ari was one, and two college students who worked as interns at St. Mary at the Mattituck. They said, "Hey, we got this. Okay, we can handle it. We can coordinate it." And so they took our experience and put a cool, uh, upbeat, sharp focus to it. And we came up with an idea of doing it old school weekend at the museum. Now, Ari will tell you about the different panels that we are going to discuss on this Saturday. Ari?
awesome.
Thank you, Judge Mosley. It's just an honor to be a participant and helping to put this together and see it through. Saturday, you are in for an awesome treat. We are really going to dive into the civil rights movement in the 60s here in our own hometown, Waterbury. We have three panels prepared for you. Lively discussions with folks that were there and are going to get their eyewitness accounts and really help us to be able to see from their lens into what took place during that time. Our first one is going to delve into the civil rights movement as it pertains to the Board of Education. The second will dive into the integration of our own Kennedy High School. Again, we are going to have eyewitnesses there giving their own recounts, where they were, how they felt, what part they played. And the third will feature our Honorable Judge Maurice Mosley, the Orangeburg Massacre, which was a national event that most folks don't even know occurred. As we are working on this project and putting this information out there and having these meetings, we were astounded by how many folks, including myself, did not know that this even happened. And so that just shows how vital it is that we get this information out there and that the folks here in Waterbury know and understand what happened, not just in the nation, but right here in our own city. The one of the most special things I found, or I am finding about our third panel discussion, is that it's going to feature Judge Mosley, but we're also going to get the perspectives from young people, young folks from our own. Town and their take on it. We're talking about bright young students, one that's attending college, one that's finished college, including his master's, another that is attending college currently as well. And so we're going to get like an intergenerational take on this incident that occurred, and also putting it on par with our current national civil rights climate and what it means to today. This is like a right now thing, so I think the time for this is impeccable. And if you come out on Saturday, you are sure to be inspired and encouraged and also blessed by what you're going to partake in. The music is going to be off the charts. It's going to symbolize the movement, the struggle, the perseverance. We're going to have the classics playing for you. It's just going to help to unify us and unite us even more and stir us up to move further and to continue to carry the torch for this civil rights movement.
Awesome. I can't wait. I can't wait. Now, I know that you guys are going to have some displays also, right? So it's going to be more than just a panel discussion. Am I correct? So you're
Yes.
going to be displaying some
When
of the artifacts.
Yeah, when the folks come in, we got a nice playlist. The music's gonna be jumping. Okay, Marvin Gaye, what's going on? Harold Melville, wake up everybody. Nina
Mm,
Simone, to be young, gifted, and black.
mm,
Um, but when people come in, the music's gonna make them rock. And on the big screen, we have these digitized articles and pictures that show what happened during the 60s.
okay.
It shows people uh, picketing and advocating to desegregate Kennedy High School. It shows the riots on North Square and 30 odd people getting arrested and their heads beat in. And when it comes to the Orangeburg massacre, you're going to show the three individuals who were killed. Um, Laying on the ground, and the highway patrol and state troopers and National Guards using cattle prods to see if they were dead. And then you'll will have pictures of them, um, you know, when they were alive too. The three young boys. So we're gonna have visuals and also eyewitnesses to all these events,
Mm,
and it's gonna be powerfully informative. And this is a pilot program. Hopefully, people will feel so excited about what we're doing. They'll say, "Hey, we need to do this every quarter, every 4 or 5 months," because along with Ari and others, we have a plethora of ideas that we can, in terms of Black history.
mhm.
But we only want to do it if people want to receive it.
Right.
And so hopefully they'll say yes. Let's do it. Every 3 months, every 4 months. Okay, because if you notice what's going on throughout the country in terms of banning books, not teaching Black history, it seems as though society does not want people to know about our history. We
Mm-hmm.
have a great history, and the more our youngsters know about it, um, it tells them that they are somebody
Right.
that they can be successful in this world. Now,
Mm-hmm.
if you don't know, I have a saying when I talk to youngsters: if you see somebody that looks like you doing something you thought were impossible, it tells them, it tells you you can do it too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and
Mm-hmm.
so hopefully we'll be able to motivate the youngsters to be excellent and to be doctors, lawyers, and engineers and everything else.
Right. Awesome. Okay, so when you say the Orangeburg massacre, tell us where that took place.
Let me tell you a little of the background. Um, I left Waterbury in 1964. My mother was from Columbia, South Carolina, and our whole family, including Sean's family,
Mm-hmm.
and my mother preached to me about being careful, staying out of trouble. I was somewhat brainwashed growing up in Connecticut because everything was supposed to be uh, integrated and fair, but underneath it really wasn't. And when I look back, a couple things come to mind about Waterbury, Connecticut. One, I remember there used to be a store downtown called Kresge's, and Kresge's had a little lunch counter where you could sit down and maybe order a soda, a little ice cream. I was about 11, 12 years old, so I came up to the counter and sat down and was waiting for the waitress to ask me what I wanted. She kept walking by me and walking by me and walking by me. And so I just left. I didn't understand it. Um, but I remember I have a cousin who's from the lighter side of my family, Norma Dean.
Mm-hmm.
That's Jackie Dean's
Mm-hmm.
sister. They're from the lighter side, and she had told me it happened to her too. That's number one. Number two, where Jonathan Reed School is now, there used to be a North End library.
Mm-hmm.
When I was living on Dyckman Street, I was maybe, I don't know, uh, probably 12. And my mother used to walk me over there because we lived on Dyckman Street. We walked me over there. I used to sit down here, all these books and small tables for young people. I really enjoyed it. And then they closed it. They didn't close the one at Bunker Hill, okay? Um, and being only 11 or 12, I didn't understand it, and I didn't understand how to protest or anything. And then the third thing I can remember, probably a lot of other things. I was born in the 40s, and I remember the early 50s. There were no black school teachers in Waterbury, 1950, 51. My mother told me she went down to the Board of Education to teach school because she had a degree from Benedict. She taught school in South Carolina. And a little clerk came out and told her, we don't need teachers that bad yet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you don't know how bitter that made me feel.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so I'm saying these things to say uh, there was no difference really in the North and the South. And Malcolm X said, any place south of Canada is the South. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All
Mm-hmm.
right. Let's get into Orangeburg, South Carolina, small town. Um, I really enjoyed it, had a good time, learned a lot, great professors, all black. Um, and we were kind of confined, meaning we didn't have to go off campus much because everything was on campus. Um, but a fellow by the name of Henry Stroman from Savannah, Georgia, he used to bowl in Savannah. So one evening, he took a couple boys down to the bowling alley in Orangeburg to bowl, and the owner of the bowling alley told him, um, "We don't let uh, you Negroes." He said something else, but I'll be polite. He said, "We don't let Negroes bowl this bowling alley." So Henry said, "Okay, I'm coming back and bring the whole campus the next night."
Mm-hmm.
So Tuesday, February 8th, 1968, before the youngsters were able to leave campus. The campus was surrounded with state troopers
Wow.
and National Guardsmen. Now, I was back in the dorm under my bed, scared to death because my mother had told me, had warned me. And like I said, coming from Connecticut, I was brainwashed, confused. And I'm kind of glad I was because if it happened today, I'd probably be in the forefront today because of what I know today. But I was back in my room. Someone threw a rock and hit a National Guard guy in the head. They thought he got shot. So they just opened fire point blank
Whoa.
on the students. Three got killed, 27 got wounded. And it was a horrific scene. And I remember boys coming back in the dormitory all bloodied. It was just, I, I, it, I can't tell you how I felt even to the day. I mean, it was unbelievable. That's the only thing I can say.
Mm-hmm.
Could you imagine on your campus? Because you all went to school. Imagine somebody come on your campus just shooting you down like dogs.
No.
And then the next morning, you had tanks on campus, army tanks,
Not to protect you.
not to protect us. Okay, to make sure there was no more trouble. School closed down. Everybody just had to leave campus right away.
Um,
And I'm in Connecticut. I live in Connecticut. I mean, where do I go? Okay. I hitchhiked a ride to Columbia because I had a ton of cousins that lived in Columbia. And I never forget a young lady, we called her Aunt Ethel Lee. She was really a cousin, but old school, you call your older cousins
right.
auntie and aunts. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And Aunt Ethel Lee took me in, gave me a place to stay. I had my little room. She let me drive her car occasionally. She fed me. I mean, and this went on for a couple of weeks because I couldn't leave and come home because if I would come home and then they opened school up, I had to go right back. So I'm
Right.
just hanging out in Columbia.
Right.
I did have a good time socially though, because you had some black colleges in Columbia.
Right.
And your uncle David was at well, he was at one. We were freshmen at Allen, but we had Allen and Benedict. So socially, I was having a good time. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
um, but it was just so sad what happened. We were out of school for 2 weeks, and then we came back, and the campus was and still it would never be the same because of the massacre. And also, there was one guy, I have to mention his name. His name was Cleveland Sellers. He went to Howard. He belonged to an organization called SNCC, Student Nonviolent Action Committee, and he was very close to a fellow by the name of Stokely Carmichael. Stokely was the president of the organization. Stokely assigned Cleveland to come to South Carolina State, and kind of educate us about what was going on in the world. And the reason why it was Cleveland came because Cleveland was from a small town called Voorhees, South Carolina, and many of you know Cleveland's son. He's on CNN, and his name is Bakari Sellers. Okay, that's Cleveland's son. And so um, when the shooting started, Cleveland was in the forefront, and he jumped behind a barrel, and they shot up the barrel. They shot Cleveland all up. Cleveland lived, and they took him to the hospital. He got arrested for inciting the riot, okay?
Wow.
And he ultimately went to jail, okay? Nobody else went to jail. None of the folks who did the shooting. Cleveland went to jail, and there was never any investigation or anything as to this day. There's documentaries out, there's books out, and I'll leave a question with your audience. Um, Kent State in Ohio is in all the history books, but South Carolina State and the massacre is not. And my question is, why, uh, why isn't it in the history books? And I think that's one of the major reasons why we are taking a deep dive Saturday morning into these subjects. Okay,
Mhm.
because our community. needs to know.
No. Awesome, awesome. Thank you. Thank you. I hope people will want to come out to see more and learn more as you dive deeper into this because of the climate that we're in right now. It
Right.
doesn't
I,
feel
I just like to say, uh, you talk about the climate right now, like in DC, you have state troopers, you have National Guards. What happens one night if somebody throws a rock and hits a National Guards guy in the head? Do they open fire? Um, could this happen today?
right. I believe it can. I believe it has. I believe it has. So when they're saying, why do we need to know? It's because it hasn't stopped. It's because it hasn't stopped. So when we have those conversations with our young people, you
Hmm.
know, and our own, um, and we're arming them with tools to protect themselves as much as they can.
Hmm.
You know, it's it's disheartening. But what I love about what you guys are doing is the narrative isn't only about that. The narrative is about, the tenacity, the resilience, the persistence to overcome those things, to still become doctors, lawyers, judges, right? Still become the best that you can be, and knowing that just because this is going on over here or this has happened or you witnessed this does not mean you
Hmm.
can't go, you can't be the best person that you want to be as a black and brown person.
Right. Uh,
That's right.
Also, um, history, Black history is part of history.
It is
It will help youngsters as I think about my career. Um, the fact that I've been a part of history and I know history, it really has encouraged me to overcome any obstacles,
history.
knowing what our forefathers did and what they went through. Um, I know when I was really young, um, I lived on Bishop Street. My mother used to take me down to a bodega called Brandolini's on Bishop Street, and she used to buy three newspapers every week: Chicago Defender, Pittsburgh Courier, Baltimore African American, all
Mm,
black newspapers. And
mm,
in there, you would see doctors, lawyers, engineers. I mean, black people doing well, and that tells you you can do it too. And also, she used to buy the every magazine once a month. So if we arm our youngsters with Black history, and if they work hard, there's two things. Well, first, I mentioned God first,
mm,
God first, middle, last.
mhm,
Okay, God, and and believing in God. Then the other two things, Black history, and then something else our youngsters need to learn. I was at a picnic 2 weeks ago. Um, what was the name of the picnic? Family and Friends picnic up Montauk Park, Bucks Hill.
mhm,
And one of my mentees, who I helped last year go to college, she's a sophomore. Uh, I asked her how's it going. She said it's hard. And long story short, I told him there's been some studies out in the last 5, 10 years that to be successful at anything, it takes 10,000 hours or about 10 years. And Dawn, if you think about your beauty salon and what have you, um, to stand a chance at being successful, you got to work hard and you got to work long and
mhm,
Right.
hard.
That's right.
Most of our youngsters don't understand that. And Black history will kind of help them to
Mm.
understand how rough it's been and what it took for our ancestors to get over. Because a lot of you think it's easy. I mean, it's hard.
That's right.
I'll never forget when I was studying for the bar. I didn't come out the house all summer. I was in the house for like 3 months, I think I may have been engaged to Esther at the time. And I stayed in the house, in her house, like 3 months. I only came up maybe for fresh air or something. Okay, but if you really want it,
Yeah.
that's what it's going to take.
Communicate.
Okay,
Mhm. Mhm.
and
Absolutely.
10,000 hours or 10 years. Okay,
Hmm.
to be
Right.
successful.
Yes. Awesome. Awesome. So as we wrap up, Ari, am I saying your name right? Is it Ari?
Eerie.
Ari. Okay. As
Yes.
we wrap
Yes.
up, uh,
Yes.
what are your final thoughts, and what would you like people to take from this conversation, this particular conversation, to encourage in a way to encourage them to come out to witness, and learn more about history, not just Black history, history.
Mhm.
You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Doesn't matter who you are. If you want
Right.
to learn more and become more armed with the knowledge of what it takes to do and be, and
Mhm.
how people have come over this, what would you
Mhm.
like to say to those people,
I'll call
all
you back in a couple
ages?
minutes. I'm finishing up with the Zoom. Okay.
I would like to say to folks of all ages,
Okay,
see,
I'll call you back.
education is so important. It's being educated creates pivotal moments in your life. Access to information is powerful as well. And so we're going to give both. We're giving education on Black history, which, like you said, is history. And we're giving them access to information, things that really occurred. And from the horse's mouth, they're going to hear and see folks expressing and giving them information that lived this. It's a lived experience. And I think that's just so tangible. um, People will walk in there and be able to shake hands with, to embrace folks that walked this life, that lived it. They're going to be able to walk away with a voice. That knowledge that they're going to get will give them a voice. They'll give them something to stand on, something to share. And that's very powerful to me. I think it's a great opportunity to empower yourself about yourself. This that they lived, that is not just their experience, it's their experience, but it's our history.
Mhm.
It's their experience, but it's what we're experiencing currently. So many of our kids, of all ages, folks that are still fighting the good fight, elders in our community that are still actively involved in the civil rights movement. And it's kind of that handing of the torch. And we can't hand the torch without handing off the information. So, what we're going to see Saturday is a handing off of the torch with the information needed to equip those that are coming up to now carry the torch forward. So it's a unique opportunity. We haven't seen anything like this in the city of Waterbury. It's an honor to bring this to Waterbury, and I'm hoping that anyone who can and will be in that space. We want to see your face in the space. It's important.
Mm.
Thank you.
Oh man, hold on. You're on mute. You're on mute. You got to unmute yourself. All right, go
Yes.
ahead. Yep.
Okay. What else is going to be unique? It's going to be a merger of old school with
New
new
school.
school. Uh,
Awesome.
Ari and these other college students who kind of coordinated everything. Um, they have like I mentioned earlier, they have the young, cool way of doing things, and we have the experience. So when you put that together, that's going to be a tremendous success.
Yeah.
Old school merging with new or young school.
Yes, awesome. Well, I want to thank you both for your time today. I'm so excited about e- being there because we're going to be there. We're going to be there this weekend. I'm so excited about it. And for those that are listening, those that are watching this, because we're going to put this up right away, those that are watching this, come down to the Mattituck Museum in Waterbury, Connecticut, downtown Waterbury, Connecticut. Um, Maurice, do you have the actual address, and how long is the display itself going to be? Or Ari, how long is the display itself going to be there?
Well, it's going to be the time is 10 to 1 on Saturday. Um, and the address is right across from the green, right next to the YMCA.
I think I
Okay,
have it.
so
Hmm.
they really can't miss it. How long the display will be up, I really don't know. We'll probably know on Saturday morning.
Hmm.
Okay, but it's 10 o'clock, and we're gonna have food too. Okay,
Hmm. Hmm.
Right.
uh, and it's right across from the green in Waterbury. And there's parking right behind the museum, and there's parking in the YWCA's parking lot.
Okay. Another question, and then we'll go. Um, how long is no the forum? The forum is going to be at 10 o'clock, correct?
Right, correct.
Okay. So if they want to hear from, like Ari said, the horse's mouth, from actual
Hmm.
people that were in the events, that witnessed
Hmm.
these events, 10 o'clock, you're saying?
Yeah, 10 o'clock.
Okay.
Also, Dr. Sharon Gatling Waldron is coming. Her father, Luther Booble Gatling, he was the second black alderman in Waterbury, and he led the fight to desegregate Kennedy High School.
Okay.
When they were building it up in the west end of town, um, very few blacks lived there, so the school was going to be basically white. But Luther fought hard with a group of folks like Kay Warwick and others, and his daughter is coming back. She grew up in Waterbury, and she's coming back from Greensboro
Nice.
to talk about her father's contribution to the movement.
All right. All right. So I do have the address. It's Mattatuck Museum, 144 West Main Street, Waterbury, Connecticut.
Right,
And like I said, the date is Saturday, August
right,
30th at 10 a.m.
right.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so excited
Thank you.
I will share with you guys the link as soon as we post it. And I'll see you guys on Saturday.